everybody. Good morning. Welcome to Philly with Jon Marks on PHLY. As always, presented by Bet Parks and Central City Toyota. Final show of the season. You can see I'm doing the show from my very comfortable living room. I may get to the grand piano before the end of the show. I will take requests. I'll have to get a cup and put it on the piano so you can give me $1 or $2 because I do take requests. But a very special final show of the year as Tyler Zulli is off. So I had to bring in an ace, somebody who I can trust with sports conversation across the Delaware Valley and the world on the final day of 2024. And he is none other than Black Gritty from blackgritty.com and his show right here on PHLY every Wednesday evening. Black Gritty, Happy New Year to you. Right? Do I wait till New Year to say Happy New Year?
You can say it. You can say it now because you're going to be with the kiddos. You'll probably be passed out on like chocolate milk by like 11:30. So you might as well get it in now. You know what I mean?
What we normally do is set the alarm for 11:50 and then get up and then watch the ball drop and then go back to sleep.
Well, it's hard for you because you got three at three different ages. So, once my daughter got to like 5 or 6, I could kind of hold her up till midnight. And she would stay up and it was all excitement. Before that, she was like, she'd try her hardest and she'd be passed out on the couch. She's like, like whatever this is.
Yeah, we're not even trying. Even my 9-year-old, we're not even trying. They'll be in bed. But it's So we actually have college football playoffs tonight. Penn State plays, so it'll be a little bit easier to stay awake to watch that game. But the end of 2024, and I got to be honest with you, Black Gritty, not a great year for me. Personally, I'm ready to flush 2024 and get into 2025. And you know me, like I'm curmudgeonly a little bit, but I'm also a positive person.
Yeah.
So I am ready to flush 2024 and 2025. Now, it's been a great year for some of our sports teams. Not a not so great year for the other sports teams. Like the Sixers, we're used to it by now. This isn't something different.
Well, the Sixers won 4 out of their last whatever, and they
big
beat
win
the
Trailblazers
last night.
Big win last night.
Yeah.
We'll get to that in headlines coming up here. But the Eagles, so the big story obviously is, and I mean, I don't know, is this even really a story? Are the Eagles really going to have their starters? I said this yesterday, and I mean it even more today. The Eagles are not going to play their starters. Saquon Barkley is not going to go for the rushing record. They're not going to put out the entire first team offense because it's one thing if you're saying like, all right. And let's get in fantasy land here for a second. We're going to play Saquon Barkley because we want him to get the record. But that means that you have to play your left tackle, your right tackle, your center, your guards, your tight ends, your wide receivers, your quarterback. And they haven't had a bye since week 5. So Black Gritty has a wry smile on his face. It looks like he's going to tell me they should play.
I'm not first of all, they're going to play the first half. They're going to try and get that they're going to get them to the first half, and they're going to try and get the record. I hear what you're saying. It doesn't matter what you're saying. First of all the things I hate about Nick Sirianni is the exact reason why Nick Sirianni is going to do this. Nick Sirianni is a bonehead, a weirdo. He's emotional. He can't control himself. And he's sitting there looking at these dudes. And the only one saying don't do it is Lane Johnson. And you got 99% of the rest of the team telling you we want this record. He's going to be in there, flowers growing in the roots and the weeds. And back in high school, he's going to be so hyped up that he's going to look at them to him and, oh, God, we go. It's going to happen, bro. So you need to reel that back in because Nick Sirianni is dumb sometimes. And this is one of the reasons he's going to be dumb. I love this. This is the kind of Nick I like. Okay, don't talk to me. Don't give me speeches. Don't say special, and then not go do it. Okay, this record needs to be had. Stoutland, I'm tired of hearing about how great Stoutland is. Let's go build him a real university. I'm tired of hearing about having one of the greatest O-lines for the last 20 years. Go improve and put a stamp on it. Okay, give me the next 40 years of hearing about Saquon Barkley and the Philadelphia Eagles like I hear about Eric Dickerson. And I'm also tired of Eric Dickerson's old self crying and complaining about, well, it took me 15 games. Shut up. OJ did it in 14, you did it in 15, and then went out and played week 16 when it didn't even matter for your playoffs, just a stat pad on top of that. So go out there and get this record. You got the first half to do it. I guarantee you he's lining everybody up there. And if Lane wants to sit down, then Lane can take a break because everybody else is going out there. Beckham Becton out there crying. Dickerson out here talking about doing for the world. It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
They got in my lot after the game, and I think the players I think the players also caught up in the moment, saying the right things for their teammate in case it does happen. And then you get Lane Johnson that has a clue, which is, nah, man, we're not playing. This would be the dumbest thing in the history of the world to play him for an individual record. And we'll talk about this coming up in headlines. The Lions didn't have to play their starters last night because the game didn't matter. They have to beat the Vikings on Sunday night. They could have lost to the 49ers. They beat the Vikings. They're the number one seed. They wrap up their division. It doesn't matter. So last night's game didn't matter win or lose. It had no consequence over the division and the number one seed. So, and Dan Campbell said after the game, he did the right thing and he played the starters. Because there's 2 games left in the season, the last thing you want to do is not play starters and then play them the following week in a regular season division game. If they didn't need the game, so here's the question. If they didn't need the game, the final game of the season, would he do the right thing and play the starters? No, because it doesn't matter. He still has a meaningful game left to clinch the number 1 overall seed. They win that game, then they have a week off and they have a bye.
So why don't you give them a double rest? You just said, why would you have them playing a meaningless game and go play an important game next week? So you're going to give them the bye week off and not have them play anything and then have them go and play in a meaningful game in the postseason against a better opponent? It's literally the same thing you just said. He could have gave them the night off and had a bye week here and then had a double bye week because that's what you're going to have going into the playoffs. So you can't say you can't have them all rest and then go to an important game because that's how the playoffs are going to work.
Yeah, but not the regular season. Like
but a game that matters for your seeding.
You start and you stop, you start and you stop. My point is that if this game didn't matter on Sunday night, are they playing them? Are the Lions playing their starters on Sunday night? The only reason you're playing your starters is for a stupid record, a rushing record. He already got 2,000 yards. Here's the most telling thing to me. They gave Saquon Barkley 31 carries in the finale. And I mean, he's in the game when the game is decided. It's over. They were making sure he got over 2,000 yards. Why were they making sure he got over 2,000 yards? So he broke 2,000 yards is legit. That's a big deal to rush for 2,000 yards. If he was going to play the final week of the season, you don't have to put him out there and do that. So it felt like to me that they were doing the solid and making sure that he got that record. There ain't no solids anymore. It's over with. This would be selfish. And I don't give a damn what Jordan Mailata or anybody else on that offensive line says. It's a conversation of, hey, Jordan, listen, totally understand. I would love him to get that record too. But the eye's on the prize. We haven't had a bye since week 5. This game doesn't matter for our seeding. We're trying to win a Super Bowl. They're trying to win a Super Bowl. God forbid somebody rolls up on Jordan Mailata or really anybody. Is Jalen Hurts playing on Sunday? In your scenario, Black Ready?
Yeah.
Or are you putting Tanner McKee out there with Saquon Barkley?
Either one will suffice, but I'd put Jalen out there because, he hasn't had a ball. He's had 2 weeks off. That'll be 3 weeks off. And, the whole rust versus rest thing. I hear what you're saying. Everything you're saying sounds exactly right. Saquon Barkley, for the last 4 years, has tried to save the running back position. He's had meetings with running backs. They're undervalued. He got his value. He's going back against his old girlfriend, and he is going to put on a show and set that record. I know what you're saying, Jon Marks, and when it happens, I want you to text me directly and say how dumb everyone is, because I guarantee you that Saquon Barkley is going to touch that field this Sunday against the Giants. And there might be a hard cap on it. There might be, hey, you get 3 series, you get 15 touches, whatever it is, but he's going to go out there and do it because the running back has to have value again, and the leader of the pack is Saquon Barkley. He's going to go and get that record. He get 100 yards in his sleep behind this offensive line. I know it's going to happen. I fully 100% believe it all my heart. Again, just think about how Nick Sirianni is.
Well,
and
that's a great idea. Let's give him 20 carries in the first half so he can try to get the record. Let's jam as many carries in possible.
Against the JV team.
Against the JV team, who, by the way, the JV team,
okay,
the guys on that team now, they're being given you're putting Saquon Barkley up on more or less like a bullseye, and you're saying oh, you want to get recognized? Go put a licking on this guy. Oh, Jalen Hurts is now playing. Oh, awesome! Let's put some guys out there, some mercenaries who are looking for their next job and their next contract next year and have nothing to lose. Oh, let's put them out there. Let's put them out there with a bunch of players that are be playing like they don't give a damn because they don't. They're looking for their contract next year. Let's put Jalen Hurts out there after a head injury. So you can put some maniac linebacker that takes a shot at him. Absolutely not. Absolutely. You people are crazy. Nick Sirianni's crazy if he doesn't.
I can't argue against what you're saying, but I'm also telling you that Saquon Barkley holds a lot of cachet in that place. Did you not see him out there hugging and dapping up every single person on the sidelines, play after play, all throughout that game there? He has so much respect there. They might even bend the knee. I remember a guy named Strahan in New York getting that free sack out there because of the respect of the game. Tip of the cap. I'm just saying, sometimes being a part of greatness isn't the headhunting thing you want. And again, if it was like Tampa Bay and Todd Bowles or something like that, it was the last game, I might be afraid. But it's the New York Giants. I am not afraid of anybody out there trying to get a lick and make a name for themselves, okay? Not one of them. Not one.
Did you see Mark Gastineau go up and confront Brett Favre on the sack thing?
Dude.
How awkward that was, man.
You ruined my life. You took something away from me. And he waited so long to start attacking Brett about this. Like, is this the first time you could ever get in the same room as him?
And a lot of times these things are staged. That wasn't staged. Brett Favre was like,
he didn't know what to do.
What the hell is going on?
He didn't know what to do.
That was weird, man.
And again, it's one of those things. Like I said, when I hear Eric Dickerson in the beginning of the season, halfway through the season, when it was possible, when Henry was even involved in the conversation, he's like, oh, I'd love for somebody to break the record. Then when it got down to it, now he's like, well, it's not the same. He's doing it more games.
It's not. It's a Fugazi record. It's like Saquon Barkley rushing for 2,000 yards in today's NFL is ridiculously. It's amazing. Derrick Henry, what he does is amazing, right? It's a Fugazi record to do it in 17 games. It just is. It's not the same thing. And like you said with OJ did it in 14 games. They should reset the record books and say that Saquon Barkley has the all-time rushing record for 17 games. They just should. It's not fair to not that I want to be fair to OJ, but
so in baseball they should just put an asterisk and say there was no black guys on the team. These records don't count. Or they should say, oh, there was only 152 games. I mean, I can go all the way down the line in all sports where they do this. The record is the record. Home runs are home runs. I mean, other than doing steroids and drugs, like you get this asterisk to it for what reason? The game changes.
Why do more games to get a record?
Why does the NFL, the national media, and everyone in the universe go and say Miami gets to pop their champagne with their 14 wins? Because no matter how many games they played, they're still a unified, undefeated season, and that is looked upon as such. Many teams have won 14-0, and nobody cares because then they go 14-1. I'll pop the champagne. The
Mercury Patriots, Mars every year. Yeah.
The Patriots win 17, whatever, they all the way to the Super Bowl. Pop the champagne. So I hear what you're saying, Johnny Marks. That's not the way it works. Ain't no asterisk, ain't no Fugazi. It is what it is. You old timers better suck it and deal with it and say, go get me this record. And like I said, Johnny Marks, everything you're saying is absolutely right. I'm totally being a fan here. I love the story of it. I love the drama of it. The NFL loves it. It's a soap opera. It's New York. I'm so petty. If it was New York, I'd probably be more on your side. If they needed to win, or it mattered, like if they still had a chance to get the number 1 seed or whatever, this would be the best thing ever because you knew he would get it. Yeah,
and he might get it in the first half based on how he would run in the game. All right, so let's do this. We're going to do more NFL stuff coming up next segment, but let's get to our headlines. Sponsored by Glatt Hair Restoration. Glatt Hair Restoration. I have the hat on today. But if you're looking to improve your hair, I think Black Grady could go over to see.
I should go see Dr. Glatt.
You can get it. You can get restoration in your eyebrows too for people that lose hair in their eyebrows. Not. I'm saying your eyebrows are anything wrong.
Mine are blessed by the Lord. This is the only thing I got. This and that beard.
So you don't get them professionally done?
No. Everybody be thinking lazy. Like how you pick them? I'm like, nah. This is by the Lord.
GlattHairMCTR.com, 610-980-4000. All right, so I said we'll hold everything with the NFL, but the Lions did beat the Niners last night, 40-34. Very entertaining game that didn't matter. Dan Campbell could have rested his starters. He decided to do what he called the right thing. Brock Purdy left the game late with an elbow injury. A lot of people thought he tapped out. I saw Aaron Rodgers tapped out on Sunday, but he didn't. So he said after the game that it felt like that his elbow was on fire. Remember, he had the same feeling when he had the UCL injury in the Eagles playoff game that Niners fans bitched about for a year.
I hope he's okay.
He says that the team said that they don't think it's the UCL, but still, it's like almost the same exact symptoms that he had before.
I just want to be okay and get this contract and be there for the next 4 years. I hope he's well and good.
He needs to be extended.
Yes.
Vikings and Lions go for the number 1 seed. Could you set it up any better? Sunday Night Football, NBC. Vikings, Lions, number 1 seed next Sunday.
Get your popcorn ready. That's one of those things where it is truly amazing, especially the way that they've been playing. The Vikings defense is the no-name Bears. Like I watch them, and other than Chad Johnson and Terrell Owens dying for their sins so they could do these celebrations, I don't know anything about the defense. Like, I don't know what's going on, but all I know is they're celebrating and they're doing the best dancing celebrations I've ever seen in my life. But they are all over the place. They
just keep winning.
Yeah.
Between Sam Darnold and he came into the locker room and they threw him up in the air for he's a jolly good fellow after the game last week. So that'll be interesting to see next Sunday. I'm going to take a look at that line in a second. I'll go on the Bet Parks app. All right, so Sixers win last night, crushed the Blazers. They were 6-point favorites in the game. You can see why. Embiid was the story last night. 37 points, 9 boards. Tyrese Maxey had 23 points. Black Gritty, even Pete Nance got in the game. He had a 3-pointer late. Love Pete Nance. I was a Larry Nance fan as a young kid.
Yes.
So it's good to see Pete Nance as a 76.
It's so strange right now. I watch the Sixers and I'm annoyed that they're winning. They've soured me so badly with the way that they started this season, the way they handled the offseason. I'm just still annoyed with them. But Joel is looking like Joel, and that feels good. But I'm still not happy with him.
Yeah, I mean, he's an amazing talent. It feels like this is the same thing. I just said, like, canned responses for the Sixers and Joel Embiid. He's an amazing talent because he is.
And he's got the black mask on, so I'm like a little kid. Like, that's like superhero stuff to me. I think that's super fun and cool. I know it's dumb, but
no, it's what it's like, Black Gritty, when the Eagles used to wear the black shoes in the playoffs. That's what Embiid with the mask is like. They just look tougher.
Yeah,
and cool.
It gives you that feel to it. Like it feels good. It makes you feel good when you watch it.
Sixers 13-17 on the season, 4 straight wins, 8 of their last 10, and it's a matter of where they're going to end up in the playoffs. As long as Embiid's not out for the season, they're going to keep winning some games. So I'm sure they'll climb back up, and I wouldn't be surprised if they were a top 5 seed when it's all said and done here.
And they beat the Celtics in that run, which is the big key, because everybody else are kind of beating and chugging along, whatever. But them beating the Celtics on Christmas Day, I was ecstatic. I haven't been as happy as I've been as a Sixers fan all year, to be honest with you, because we hate Boston. But that was just immaculate. That was a beautiful thing to see.
Yeah, as long as they beat the inferior teams, they're going to win a lot of games. There's a lot of inferior teams to the Sixers. I mean, and the Sixers' record isn't really what they are. Right. So even teams that have more wins than them, which are a number of teams, they should be winning. All right. So day off tonight at the Kings on New Year's Day. So do they travel to Sacramento for New Year's Eve? You would think that of course they would.
Yeah.
So what do you do in Sacktown on New Year's Eve if you're the 76ers?
Have you ever been to Sacramento?
I've driven through Sacramento on the way to Lake Tahoe.
Okay. So
it's a cow town.
Yeah. The best way I can say it is like, imagine you built a Lego city and put it in your yard, like just a little Lego play set, and you put it in your yard. That's Sacramento. Like the city is like just a small thing, and it's just like rural flatlands. Like you can just like, wait, I was just in the city. What happened? Like where am I at now? Like there's not much to do in Sacramento.
Not much to do. Yeah, I guess they could if they wanted to charter a flight. Because they play on New Year's Day, so they can't go to Vegas for the night.
And they shouldn't go to San Francisco. Or they stay in a hotel. Get some rest. Don't eat any weird shrimp, Joel. Like just play it safe. You know what I mean? You can't trust this guy. He's ordering weird room service or going to some kind of strip and dip situation. I don't know.
He'll have food poisoning. On New Year's Day. All right, Flyers at the Sharks tonight. That's an 8 p.m. start. So if you want to bring in the new year with a little Flyers game, That'll be over by the time the ball drops. You can do that as well. I'm sure Black Gritty will be tuning in to the Flyers.
So I actually love watching the Flyers. Last year, I was watching the games and I tried to like totally get into it, but then everybody started going crazy, like, we're going to make the playoffs. And I'm like, calm down. So then it made me back off from it. And this year, I got the young guy, I got Mishkov, and I love Torts. And I know people don't like him, but now I'm just like, look, I'm going to watch these games. I'm not going to tweet anything. I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to watch the games. And it's made my life so much better because I feel like once you start tweeting your reaction play by play, period by period, it messes with your emotions. And so I'm just trying to learn and accept the team is growing and building and going in a positive direction. And it's making me enjoy the Flyers so much more without having so much anticipation and hope and all this kind of stuff. I'm just loving watching the team play.
Coming up, we'll give you all the playoff scenarios, including our teams that could potentially face the Eagles maybe not going to play as hard as they should next week. And Micah Parsons, what the hell is he talking about? That's coming up next. Philly with Jon Marks. Don't go anywhere. All right, listen. Are your joints aching? Or your hands cramping? Your back out of whack? Rothman's got you. Rothman Orthopedics. Practicing specialized care has been their passion for over 50 years. So I can tell you this firsthand. And this is now going back, I guess it's 2 years. I had my right shoulder. I didn't know what the hell happened. And you keep hoping it gets better. You're like, all right, well, it'll get better. It'll get better. And I get to a point where, and I remember because it was like, all right, New Year's resolution. I'm going to take care of this in the new year. I couldn't even reach up to get the cereal in the top of my pantry because my shoulder hurt so bad. I had to get the tongs to reach up with my left hand and grab it. And that's where I was. And I wish I would have went to Rothman earlier because you go in, I got a simple exam and it's like, well, you have a frozen shoulder. Well, what the hell's a frozen shoulder? So I got PT. 6 weeks later, the shoulder was completely back, right? Each Rothman doc's focused on their specialty, whether it's your hip, your knee, your spine, you name it. They have a team for each body part right in your backyard. Rothman Orthopedics, they specialize in you. So like I said, whether it's your knee, your hand, your back, whatever it is, why not get back to what you want to do? If you like to garden, you like to run, you like to work out, you can do that. Don't think that just because you're injured that you can't. All right. Patients will find the full spectrum of orthopedic care at Rothman Orthopedics. From diagnosis to discharge, they provide their patients with every service and procedure necessary. X-rays, bracing, MRIs, physical therapy. Like I said, the PT was like 6 weeks, and I haven't had a problem with my shoulder since then. All right. Rothman constantly performs and consistently performs the highest volume of hip, knee, shoulder, and ankle replacements in the country. Over 60,000. It's not just the volume. It's really what their care is. For more than 50 years, Rothman's participated in thousands of groundbreaking research and clinical trials with the goal of advancing knowledge, developing treatments, and improving outcomes for the benefit of their patients. Rothman Orthopedics, specializing in orthopedics, and you. Visit rothmanortho.com/PHLY to learn more and to make an appointment today. All right, so BetParks. Listen, and you know that I'm on the BetParks app all the time, looking at lines, kind of like the Giants this week, unless the bonehead plays the starters on Sunday. But also, what about entertainment? What about date night? What about taking your wife out for something special? All right. So Parks Casino has the Excite Center, which is an amazing venue. So you're talking about comedians like Larry the Cable Guy. Is he considered a comedian? I guess he is. Musical acts. Cole Swindell's coming up on February 7th. Shaggy, the reggae sounds of Shaggy. January 18th. Actor Richard Kind from Curb Your Enthusiasm. Comedy. Magician Michael Carbonell. Amazing acts. Lee Bryce on March 22nd. Get tickets for all your shows at parkscasino.com. But before you go, get dinner. Liberty Bell Gastropub. Amazing burgers, wings, things like that. The Parks Grill Steakhouse. High-end steakhouse. Unbelievable cuts of meat and everything else. Bamboo Noodle House. And by the way, you don't need to just, if you're going to a show, go to Parks Casino whenever and go to one of their fine restaurants. Again, parkscasino.com. Buy tickets for all their shows at parkscasino.com. This is how you win. This is my preferred, or really the only casino that I would ever go to. Pennsylvania's #1 casino. It's right in the Philly burbs, close to everywhere. Jersey, suburbs, wherever you are close to Parks Casino. Tickets on sale right now. Everything that they do, parkscasino.com. You must be 21. Gambling problem. Call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, there you go. We're back on a New Year's Eve with Black. So, do you have any plans tonight, Black Lady? I know you have your. Are you with your daughter tonight, or anything cool going on?
So I am sick as a dog right now, but I'm powering through for you, and it is my evening. So right after I get done with this, I'm probably gonna have a late night snack and then go to bed. So I'll be up partying, doing nothing with the kid tonight. This is she's like, she was gonna go to a party, and I was like, if you're going to a party, and I gotta step because I gotta come pick you up because she can drive, but I wouldn't let her drive.
No, not tonight.
And she was like, I still feel sick too. I'm like, well, no party then, because if you feel sick, don't go to the party, get everybody else sick. So we're just gonna be hanging out the crib tonight, playing video games, watching movies, have a repeat of Christmas Eve, and life will be good.
Yeah, it's speaking of sick as a dog. So my poor, so I was sick. I had strep throat. It was October 15th. I had strep throat. I had strep throat again a month later, and I said that because I can't get an appointment in my primary care. And I didn't want to go sit in the urgent care for 3 hours for them to tell me I have strep throat or I don't have strep throat. So I went to like one of the minute clinics because you can get in with an appointment.
Yeah.
So like you have strep throat again. So the fool prescribes me the same antibiotic. And I say, well, it didn't work before. And she says, well, no, you're past the window. This is just a new, like you have kids at home. This is probably just a new case. So I'm like, all right. So she gives me penicillin again. It didn't kill it. So I have a sore throat, and I'm like, well, it's just a sore throat. I can't have strep again, right? Well, it's strep again. But now my wife, my daughter, and two of my daughters had flu A. So they get really sick, and they have flu A. So then
that's never I have the flu.
Oh, dude, and it killed them too. They were like dead.
Yeah.
So after a couple days, my middle girl, she's not getting any better, and she still has the fevers. Actually, both my kids, they have the fevers. So I'm like, I bet they have strep. After like 2 days, I'm like, I bet they have strep. So we take them to the doctor, they have strep. So I'm like, oh, well, that's why they're not getting better. So they have strep. So then my youngest gets better after the antibiotics, but Lena's not getting better. So then all of a sudden the fevers spike into like 103, 104. And I give her Motrin, and it's not bringing it down.
Yeah.
So we were at shop like a couple days before Christmas, and then we went down to Delaware to the Moors. She had a fever for 15 days. And I'm not talking about 101 fever. I'm talking about if you're not giving her Motrin every 6 hours and then giving her Tylenol every 3 hours, she's at 103, 104.
That's crazy.
And Shop told us it was viral, which is fine. But when your kid has a fever for, at that point, 10 days, that's not a good enough answer for me. So we went to the Moors, and they did a bunch of labs, and they're like, yeah, you have some type of, I forget what virus it is. Because if they say that she doesn't test positive for any of these things, you're staying.
Yeah.
Because you're like, you should not have a fever for. So thankfully, it broke over the weekend. On Saturday, she did not have a fever for 24 hours.
Good.
But it was 15 days, dude.
It's so. First of all, you need to get that Lysol air, like it's like a fogger. So that now after I got the last time I got sick, then my daughter got sick. Then she gave it to her mom. We're in separate homes. And then my daughter got sick again, brought it back to my house. I got sick again. And I'm like, yo, okay. So from now on, it's gotta be church and state. Like if you have to stay there or you have to stay here. We can't have you transferring back and forth to houses and just recontaminating everybody because she's the patient zero. So now I'm just like, look, I just bomb her car. I bomb the house. Like it's just like basically like a bug bomber. That Lysol air, that stuff works really good. I turn the fans on and just bomb the whole house, bro. Everything gets disinfected. I'm not playing anymore. I can't get re-sick after being sick. Like what you're talking about, it happens too easily now. And I'm
it sure does, man. It sure does. Yeah, knock on wood, everybody's completely healthy right now. That won't last, but these kids need to go back to school. My poor, she was out of school the whole entire week, the last week. So she was literally, she was done for 2+ weeks, which poor little girl. All right. So I hadn't thought about this, and then I was reading something this morning. So here's the Gritty. Here's the playoff scenario, right? We know that the Eagles are locked in to the number 2 seed. The Vikings and the Lions, that's for the number 1 seed. Now, Washington's at Dallas. The Packers are home against the Bears. So if Washington beats Dallas, they control their destiny. They would be the number 6 seed. They would avoid the Eagles. The Packers would then be the number 7 seed, and they would play the Eagles in the wild card round. The Rams right now are the number 3 seed. So if the Rams win, they're the 3 seed. If the Rams lose and the Bucs win, the Bucs would be the number 3 seed. So the Rams are home against Seattle. The Bucs are home against the Saints. That's an easier game for the Bucs. So if, again, the Rams win, they're the 3 seed. If the Rams lose and the Bucs win, then the Bucs would be the number 3 seed. All right. So if you're the Packers or Washington, and I know typically head coaches and players don't think like this, but if Washington wins, then Washington would avoid the Eagles. If the Packers end up being the 7 seed, then they would end up facing the Eagles. Do you think these teams want to avoid the Eagles and would rather be the 3 seed? Play the 3 seed? You know what I mean?
So I think that because the 3 seed would end up being the Vikings, right?
No, so the 3 seed would be the Bucs or the Rams.
Oh, they'd much rather play the Bucs or the Rams than us.
Right.
The even though Baker Mayfield's on fire right now, they're depleted with injuries. And it depends on who they're playing. But both of those teams don't want to see the Eagles. I don't care what Commanders fans are acting like. The Commanders themselves know that with a healthy Jalen Hurts, there's no way that they're dealing with this team at all. And Jordan Love, he needs an easier road to get started in the postseason because his games lately, he just gets into these slow starts. And yes, he roars back, but against the Eagles defense, if you get against a slow start, you're not going to come back against us like that. So
no.
Neither one of them want to see the Eagles. Both of them are going to try and get to see anybody else besides us. And I don't want to see the Bucs. Like people like, would I be afraid of? I just don't like Todd Bowles. I don't know what he knows about Jalen Hurts. I don't know if he got pictures of him from high school or something going on, but I don't like.
Yeah, they're not good
against Todd Bowles.
Not a good matchup for the Eagles, right? And you know what the other thing is? They wouldn't come into Philadelphia, and they can't play them, so we don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, we don't have to worry about it.
But they come into Philadelphia, they're not afraid of playing the Eagles. They feel like they can beat them. And they did earlier this season. They did last year.
Yeah.
So,
but both teams don't want to play the Eagles. The Packers more so don't care. I know the Commanders for 100% would try to avoid us with all their heart if they could. So
agreed. So it'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see how it ends up all playing out. Let's play this. So Micah Parsons, Black Gritty, scale 1 to 10. How bad does Micah Parsons want to be an Eagle? 150?
Probably 1,000. And I hate Micah Parsons. I never wanted to be a Philadelphia Eagle. I don't want anybody to ever say they want to be an Eagle. He's a trash player. He's a trash person. And he has a trash podcast. Yeah, I said it. I don't like Micah Parsons, but carry on.
Well, he's not going to be an Eagle because Jerry Jones is going to play it out. He's going to wait. He's going to have contract negotiations. He's probably going to franchise him for a year, and then he's going to sign him long-term. Is there any doubt? Instead of like getting in front of it right now and giving him the $30 million a year, he needs the whole soap opera so he's in the headlines. He did it with CeeDee Lamb. He did it with Ezekiel Elliott. He did it with Dak Prescott. He pretty much does it with Amari Cooper was a big soap opera, and then he traded him. It's just what Jared does.
Yep.
So they're going to do the same thing with Micah Parsons. Did it with Zach Martin on the offensive line. He needs to do it.
Jerry Jones is a gift that keeps on giving. As good as they are at drafting, the fact that his inability to pay players ahead of time is what destroys them because they draft so well. They're so scary in the draft. It's insane how good they are, but he just can't keep the talent around because he spends his money poorly. And he's the richest owner. You'd think he'd be better with his money, but.
Yep. Well, and Stephen Jones was on 105 Through the Fan yesterday, and he said that, let me get the exact quote here before we play Micah. He said, I know everyone has their different battles with the cap that hit at different times. Philly will have theirs coming up when they'll have to make tough decisions. Yeah, like Mekhi Becton's going to go sign somewhere else. That's their tough decision. Halakula Vaitai doesn't get re-signed. right? Like the guys that you can re-sign Landon Dickerson, you can re-sign your tackles. You can't re-sign the guys that you know are good players, but are going to be overpaid. You're not signing those guys. So Beckman's not going to be back next year, and they're going to have to find another guard, and they can do that. But the Eagles have 10 players that are making over $100 million.
And Beckman might not go anywhere. You see him crying when he walked off the field. He's finding a place that he's happy. Like, I know one thing. Being happy means a lot. Like, the fact that man's crying from being a Jet and living in that ecosphere. And
he's like, oh, my God, this is what it's like.
I'll take the pay cut to be happy sometimes. I'm just saying.
Well, listen, if
the
Eagles are willing to make it happen, I just think he's going to price himself out. But here's Micah Parsons yesterday, because if we had this, Julia, Micah Parsons, because I mean, your first takeaway from the game was it was a lot closer of a game than I almost felt like the Cowboys won the game. I forgot at the end of the game that the Eagles actually won.
Well, because the first quarter made you feel that way.
Yeah,
the first quarter made you feel weird.
Here's Micah Parsons yesterday.
You look at their play, they have 2 big runs and 3 good deep shots. Other than that, we made them earn it, and you take away so we really.
All right, Julia, pause it real fast.
About 5 plays that decided.
Look at the guy in the background.
With
the hat on. Try not to laugh.
He's grinning the hardest grin without laughing you've ever seen in your life. It's almost like a cartoon. So, if I had $10, I'm just saying, if I had $2, they had the $2 and then they added 3.
Right.
And so then they had 4 more. I guess that's 10, but it's just because they had all the dollars.
I would have won the Powerball if the 3rd number would have been the number that I picked, and the 4th number would have been my number, and the 5th number would have been my number. Man, I won the Powerball. Just give me the jackpot.
Just break down every touchdown played. You gave up a lot of touchdowns, bro.
All right, more of here it is.
Plays that decide this game. You hate to say that because it's a lot of football, but the 2 deep shots to Devontae Smith and the one to AJ Brown, and also Devontae on that slant. For the most part, we're making them earn it. 3 yards, 2 yards, 4th and 1s, which is good football for when you're playing a team like the Eagles. But the other side is that when you play in those big teams, we understand big plays is going to happen. You understand, AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, some of the best guys in the league, they're going to make a big play. But you got to limit that big play margin from maybe they.
All right, good job. Thank you. Micah Parsons, everybody. Thank you.
You smoke crack, don't you? Remember from what's that movie?
Lean on Me.
Lean on Me. There you go. You smoke crack, don't you, boy?
Thomas Sands. Don't you smoke that crack?
Just what are you talking about? You literally just broke down all. Yes, you know what? If you give up touchdowns on all touchdown plays, Micah, you're gonna lose. You want to minimize some. You should have just said CeeDee Lamb wasn't out there. Offense couldn't do much, and shut up. But that was just weird. Like I said, he says the dumbest things. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, ain't nobody know who he is. Derek Carr is the man. We lost Derek Carr because Derek Carr is somebody in the league. Now look at Derek Carr. Somebody.
If it wasn't for the Devontae Smith touchdown or the AJ Brown touchdown,
or the other one, the Devontae Smith
touchdown, or the pick 6 by CJGJ, or the big runs by Saquon. Yeah, if it wasn't for all those things, man, that's a close game.
If the Eagles didn't show up today, we would have won. They would have forfeited. We would have won that game. The guy in the background laughing at him is just pure comedy. It's just classic. I wouldn't know if that's a Philadelphia reporter. Who is that guy?
I don't. Whoever it was, he was getting a kick out of it. It's one of these things. And sometimes you need to go back and watch it when you're hearing it real time. I remember when Jason Kelce was doing the speech at the parade, and I was listening to it real time. It didn't actually hit me until after I re-listened to it, all the different things that he said. Right? It's just holy Christ! Did he really just have the best parade Super Bowl speech ever? But listening to it real time, you're just kind of is this really happening right now?
It's the whole damn team. And Mike on his podcast beforehand, he's like, it's always personal Philly. You know what I'm saying?
I know. He wants to knock us out and all this other stuff.
Yeah. I'm like, come on, bro.
Hey, listen, I hope he does daily episodes of the podcast, because that's really working for him.
It is.
He should do it. He should. He should bring on Slay as well every day.
What he needs to do is have a running mate. You know, like you're a captain of your own ship. You've run shows and you've had partners, and you can do a solo show. He should not be left to his own devices. When he's alone, he meanders into the wilderness.
Does he really talk to him? Does he really do it by itself sometimes?
Yeah. His podcast is himself. Like 80% of the time, like it's just him talking, and I'll have guests and stuff on, but he's just in there talking. Like he needs like a standard running mate, someone to do the pod with. And Bleacher Report does that for other stars, not him. So it's just weird. That's why you hear so many clips of him, because there's no one to reel him in or focus the conversation. So he just randomly says things.
Oh, I'm sure it sucks. I've never seen it. I've only seen whatever clips they put out there.
Yeah.
Oh, it must be terrible.
Yeah, it's not great.
All right, coming up. I haven't talked to Black Rudy about this, but we have a new sideline reporter for the Philadelphia Eagles radio network. We'll discuss that. Also, do you believe in Bigfoot? Well, a couple people out in Washington did, and it cost them dearly. That's coming up next. Philly with Jon Marks. Don't go anywhere. Hey, Central City Toyota, Uncle Jamie. There's still time, people. Today is the last day. Toyota-thon. My Uncle Jamie is down at Central City Toyota right now. You're a general manager of the car dealership. You don't get days off like this. All right? Because they got deals. They're trying to move units down at Central City Toyota. CentralCityToyota.com, their entire inventory, including their sister dealership at Ardmore Toyota. But a ton of great certified Toyotas are available right now. The heart of University City, 55 years on Chestnut Street. I've been a customer for 20 years. Bought my first new car at Central City Toyota, a 2005 Corolla, 5-speed stick shift. I was there. I was like, no, I have to no manual transmission, only a manual transmission, no automatic. Now, since then, I'm like, okay, I'm not going to drive stick with every car that I have. It's impossible to do. But anyway, you're getting service. You're getting the best price. They don't play pricing games. Everything is up front. I can't recommend them anymore. You can literally go into the dealership and say, hey, I listen to Philly with Jon Marks. Where's Uncle Jamie? He'll come down and he'll say, what's up? Service department is the largest in the city of Philadelphia. If you work in Center City and you want to get your car serviced, they'll actually come and pick the car up for you, service it, and drop it back off. That's by an appointment basis only at CentralCityToyota.com. CentralCityToyota.com. Check them out in the heart of University City. Check them out, CentralCityToyota.com. All right, let's get that. Hold on, just go ahead, Black Rudy.
So you don't remember this because you take a billion calls. But one time you were talking about something that happened when you were younger, and I called in and I was like making fun of you. Like I was like, I could just see a young Johnny Marks rolling down the street in his RAV4, blah, 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 blah. And everybody was just laughing at the joke. And when I hung up, you turned to Ike and you're like, how the heck did he know I was driving a Toyota RAV4?
I had a RAV4, yeah.
And the next day I was like, you just look like a Toyota RAV4. Like I had never known that. I was like, you just look like a Toyota RAV4 kind of guy. And I nailed it through the airways. It was a really funny conversation.
And that was from Central City Toyota. Yeah, you're mean. RAV4s are nice cars. It's the anniversary. I was driving in. It was actually when I worked I was working mornings with Anthony, and I was driving into work at like 3:00 in the morning. And I still didn't see the deer coming. That deer blew my car up.
Oof.
And I was able to drive it off the exit and get it to there's a Wawa right off the one exit. And I was able to get it there. But then, so now I'm calling my wife and she's not picking up the phone. And I'm like, well, now what am I going to do? I have nowhere to go. Right. But yeah, so I was able, and then she finally woke up after I called 100 times. But yeah,
at least you weren't dying.
No, I made it.
You made it.
I made it. All right. So what else do we have? I lost what we had right here. Is this C-Jam Construction? Is that what I have right here? C-Jam? I'm sorry, Julie. I lost what my other
that was my fault. I broke in with the Toyota. My fault.
No, you're actually helping me because it was giving me an opportunity to try to search to see what I had here. I believe it's C-Jam. I have so much stuff right here. Let's do C-Jam right here. So C-Jam Construction. We talk about this, and it really is. It's true. that it is it's a community that we're building on PHLY and on Philly with Jon Marks. So if you are, like if you're looking to get something done in your house, whether right now is a great time to get your deck done. By the time spring happens, bam, you got it. Family-owned home remodeler specializing in decks, bathrooms, and flooring. And their goal is to help their clients alleviate the challenges and frustrations that come with home remodeling. So give them a call. Go to their website, cjamconstruction.com. The letter C, J-A-M construction.com. Let them know you heard about them on PHLY, 15% off your project. So you want to get something done in the new year. You're thinking about it like, all right, what are we going to do? Maybe it's a new, like I need bathrooms, right? CJam's going to take care of my bathrooms coming up here, hopefully soon. Flooring, a new deck. CJam Construction's got you taken care of. 856-329-2933. 856-329-2933 or cjamconstruction.com. That's the letter C, J-A-M construction.com. All right, we're back. You can hear Black Grady coughing up a lung in the background. You all right?
I didn't mute it. My fault. I tried to mute it. My bad.
Wait, so what's the diagnosis? You just have like a cold with a dry hacking cough, or what?
Yeah, they said I had the flu. I got a Z-Pack and I got a steroid, so I can actually like breathe and my nose is working fine. But like, when you lay down, you just start hacking up when you lay down. So like, I try to go to sleep and I can't because I'm like coughing and I'm scared to go to sleep. Like, what if I cough in my sleep? I don't know. So I'm gonna pass out. Hopefully, take some NyQuil and get a little nap in. But I went to the doctor yesterday. I had to go to the doctor because I couldn't. The weekend was killing me. And by the way, men are punks. My daughter, like I told you, sick, has the same thing. She went out there, had a wrestling tournament. She took third. She won 3 matches by pin. She lost 1 by 2. And she should have won, but she was tired because she's been sick. And I'm like, you're better than me because I'm over here stuffy, nighthead, sneezy, coffee medicine, crying. And she's out there on the mat whooping butt. So men are big babies. I'm a big baby.
I saw the video you put out there on Instagram. Yeah, congratulations. I know she's been killing it in wrestling forever. And softball's coming up too?
Softball's coming up. She has her last band thing. She plays the clarinet. She was like the first band thingy, whatever. I don't know.
Does she play the clarinet?
Yeah, she plays the clarinet. She is well balanced, bro. She writes poetry, the clarinet. You know what I mean? She's doing all kinds of things. Like, she is well-rounded individual. Kicking butt, playing clarinet. She's a nerd. It's great. It's great, dude.
Gets good grades, smart.
Yep. Leaves me alone. Don't ask for too much money.
Wow.
So, life is good.
I can only help. I can only hope.
You got 3. You're in trouble because one of them was going to get you. One of them was going to put that tax on you.
Yeah, it's going to be my middle girl is going to be the she is, and like not in a bad way. She's just got the most personality of the bunch. And we'll see. What's gonna make or break me, because the 3-year-old, you're still trying to figure out what she's going to be, and I feel like she's trending more towards middle girl than oldest girl.
That's what's the problem. She falls in the footsteps,
right? Because because we reset the clock with Bella, so I won't. She won't be done high school till I'm 62. So,
oh, you gonna be old, boy. You gonna be old,
right? I'm gonna be working at Wegmans collecting grocery carts so I can send her to. That's my dream job. Did you know that?
Really?
Yeah. Yep.
That's a fun job getting groceries. That's for wintertime. Not in the wintertime though. It's too cold.
No, man, you get bundled up. You put the hat on. You wear the mask. Right, you put the gloves on, you go inside, you warm up with some hot chocolate, you go back out, you help the old ladies with their stuff.
I want that little cart. Carts. I want that cart where they take like 1,000 carts when they get the little motorized cart and they drive them. That'd be cool. I'd love to have like a gravy train of carts just snaking. All right, that's all right, man. I'll go work with you.
That's a Target thing. They don't have that at Wegmans. Wegmans, it's the old just get all the carts and push them. Or they have you put the strap around your shoulders and then
you drag them. Yep.
Yeah, you're dragging. No, that's like at some point, hopefully not sooner than later. I'm just gonna have the job where all I have to worry about is coming in and dragging shopping carts.
Yeah, mindless fun stuff.
Do you believe, Black Ready? Do you believe in Bigfoot?
I have seen you with your shirt off, so yes, sir, I do. I believe you are a cousin to one of the foots of the big, and if you went to the woods instead of the beach, I feel like you'd be harpooned. So yes, I do believe in Bigfoot.
Well, I can shave my chest.
I mean,
and my back.
You could.
I just saying. Sometimes, just not in the summer.
You could be mistaken. You could be kidnapped. Just don't go camping. So I'm trying to help you out. Don't go to the lake Go to the beach where it's safe.
So you don't believe in Sasquatch or Bigfoot?
Yeah, it's got to be like what, like a bear thing, like a half man, like maybe there's an ape somewhere chilling out here that we don't know about, and it's just like walking around.
So here's my question: how come they can never actually find them? Because they've been looking for Bigfoot for years, but like the only thing you get is some grainy BS picture. So that it's like, oh, there he is.
Have you ever been into the deep woods, like in like the Virginias or like in Colorado? Like these forests they're so big. I don't have anxiety, but there was one time where I was like, all right, bro, we got to stop. Like we were on ATVs and I'm like, I look back and I'm like, all I see is we got to get out of here. Like I think about mountain people just living there that haven't seen a human for 20 years and they're just living off the land. Right. Like, I don't know what's out there. You know what I mean? It's just like being in the Congo. You know, they find new snakes every day. I don't know.
Yeah, that's why I don't go to the forest or camping or anything like that. I'm fine with dealing with marine life.
The chat says there's no Bigfoot. They're no fun.
Bigfoot. All right, so listen, there are people that still believe in Bigfoot. And this is a somber story because 2 people went out looking for Bigfoot right around Christmas. Julie, do we have this? This is a news story from Seattle Submissions. So this is a news story where 2 guys went out looking for Sasquatch or Bigfoot. I don't know if there's a difference between the 2, but go ahead and roll it. Here we go.
Welcome back. New at 5:30, 2 Portland men are dead after searching for Sasquatch in eastern Skamania County. According to the Skamania County Communications Center, they received a report from a family member that 2 people were overdue home after they went out searching for Bigfoot. The men planned on returning Christmas Eve, but hadn't. Over the course of 3 days, Skamania County sheriffs put together a 60-person volunteer search party. They brought in dogs, drones, and even air assets from the Coast Guard. After a grueling search, they say they were able to find a 59-year-old and 37-year-old man in heavily wooded parts of the Gifford-Pinchot National Forest. Died from having exposure. So this is a developing story. Definitely stick with us for the very latest.
All right. Well, it's very, very sad. In all seriousness, of course, it's sad that these 2 people lost their lives
from exposure.
Yeah, too damn cold. I mean, you would think that. I don't know how the conversation goes, but is it a text message that said, "Hey, I heard Bigfoot's in the area, or you want to go try to find Bigfoot?" You would think that you'd be more experienced in like camping or survival or things like that, because I mean, it's going to be cold and like snow and stuff.
And like I just told you, sometimes those forests are so big. Like I was worried we weren't going to be able to find our way out when I was with my friends. And I was like, I'm not going any deeper in here. So if they're out just exploring and then you get turned around and you can't get your way out, maybe you only had enough rations or whatever to carry you for, we're just going to go out there for the day or 2. And then you're 3 days deep and you're like, we're not going to make it. So that is
no,
sad.
You're right. They probably got lost.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm out. No, yeah. I mean, forget about looking for Bigfoot or whatever. What's the other thing that people look for?
The abominable snowman.
Yeah.
What's is Loch Ness Monster?
Loch Ness Monster's another one. Yeah.
Yep. Loch Ness Monster. And they said that was a whale's thingy when they come up out of the water. That hook is like a whale's thing. So that's what that is. Yes, that is a whale's junk. So when they used to see that back in the day, it was just a whale just basically swimming on its back, like, what's going on? You know what I mean? So it's funny.
Devin Caney, the new Eagles sideline reporter for
the news
radio network. And this is just for the rest of this season. It has not been announced or whatever who's going to do it going forward. This happening, of course, because Howard Eskin parted ways with WIP and Odyssey. I guess it was last week or 2 weeks ago now or whatever.
Yeah.
One of the reasons it's something that I really want to do going forward on the show is that the Fanatic's not going to talk about that. WIP's not going to talk about that outside of Spike at the beginning of the show. And it's something that I feel like here we can talk about everything because we should be talking about everybody else because that's kind of like what we have an opportunity to do here. So let me just say this about Howard. And I mean, I would have never thought after 38 years that they would have said, "Hey, Howard, it's time to move on." But I mean, it's pretty clear that this was not a mutual parting of ways, that they were ready to move on from Howard. I don't know I've heard Angelo say on some other show that maybe there were some other incidents or something like that. I have no knowledge of that.
Well, the one incident and being suspended is enough. And again, you know
Agreed.
how you are, like the contract comes at the end of the season, and maybe they don't want to renew your contract, or maybe they lowball you and say, hey, if you want to stick around, we're only going to pay you $25. And he's like, that's an insult to my availability.
Right. So I don't know if it was locally, nationally. I don't know if like the national said, hey, like it's time to move on. Listen, Howard's done it for a long time. He wasn't ready to move on. Sometimes they move on from you. You don't get an opportunity. We all have an expiration date.
Yeah. He's still reporting now. He's just doing it from his TV screen to Twitter.
He sure is. So, and I'll just say this, Howard's been very good to me. I like Howard a lot. And I have like whatever happened with the incident or whatever else that's went on with him. I don't know. Obviously, he shouldn't be trying to kiss somebody down at the Phillies game or like whatever. But I can just say this, that Howard has been a big influence just on me as a sports fan, positive or negative. I know there's been some like Crossing Broad put out a negative story about how he kind of like started this whole trend of whatever.
Because fans weren't writing letters to murder umpires and athletes in the 50s and 60s.
Yeah, Howard Eskin, if
he did not start fandom craziness. If you think
that the reason that there's hot takes or hosts do takes or whatever, like Howard was an original. I don't think Howard for a second ever played contrarian. I think Howard's himself. And you know this, you grew up in this area. Howard, do you remember Gold Medal Sporting Goods, Black Gritty? So he used to do commercials for Gold Medal. Gold Medal was in the Willow Grove Mall and had a bunch of sporting goods stores over the area. And I remember he was one of the dignitaries at the Upper Moreland Little League opening day. And it was right around the same time that he was doing Gold Medal stuff with Mike Schmidt, by the way. Howard was like buddies with Mike Schmidt. And any interaction that I ever had with Howard before I got into the media, he was always very nice, very generous. As a student, when I met him a couple times when he came to Temple, very nice, very helpful, offered me good advice. As a professional, when I worked with him, gave me advice, held me accountable in a couple times where I was out of line, and he told me that I was, and I appreciated it. Because Howard didn't have to do that, and he was always so very generous and kind to me. And I also saw him be kind to pretty much everybody that he encountered.
He would ask hard questions, so I already appreciate him for that. You know, he was very flip-floppy on athletes, you know, but that's anything. When you're in the business that long, your mindset changes on certain things, but he would ask a lot of hard questions that no one else would ask because everybody was either afraid or your access gets threatened and things like that. So he would ask tough questions, not so much on the Eagles lately because he's in their pocket, but he's just been like, man, I can't believe he asked that question. And most of the time they wouldn't answer, but at least it was asked and put forth. And you knew it was out there, so it was on the mind. So I always appreciate him for doing that.
Yeah, like the Charlie Manuel thing. I can go for years of things that he said. Like I didn't listen to him on the radio for 38 years. There was times where I'm like, I have nothing to do with listening to this guy. I went head to head. When I worked with Mike Missinelli, I was on the show that went head to head with Howard. So obviously, But Howard is an original. He truly is the king, and I think he thinks that he's going to be doing something after this. So if he does, I'll be happy to see him come back. But, and Devin, I'm sure I would think Devin gets the job full time. And
because I don't think Elliott wants it.
Yeah, Elliott, that's not Elliott's thing.
Yeah,
he can't be Captain Hot Take and do it.
Yeah. Yep. But I like that for Devin. She's doing good.
Yeah, she'll do a great job. All right. Well, listen. Happy New Year.
Happy New Bear. Happy New Bear. Everybody's been watching. Happy New Bear. Julia in the background. I know you're listening because you're doing the show, so you have to be listening.
Julia, thank you. Happy New Year.
Oh, do you have any New Year's are you a New Year's resolution dude, or do you do?
I mean, yeah, I'm going to go to the gym for the first 9 days of January and then quit. Do I have New Year's resolutions? I mean, no, but I have like you kind of have a plan on what you want to accomplish in 2025. And I definitely have that, but I don't have any fugazi New Year's resolutions. But yeah, like it's going to be 2025 is going to be a big year, and it's going to be a very good year for me and Black Gritty, for you as well. It's
going to be a great year for me. I believe in me this year. I survived last year. That was my only goal. So I did that. I said, I just want to survive the year, and I did it. So I still got like 8 more hours to make sure I survive. But so far,
yeah, don't get in the car after saying that.
Yeah, not going anywhere. Staying home. Bubble wrap me. Joel Embiid me.
Everybody have a great one. Happy New Year's. And by the way, Black Gritty, there's no reason for anybody to get behind the wheel of a car tonight if you've been drinking.
Yes.
No reason at all. So don't even say, well, I'm just going to have 1 or 2 because I want to drive home. If you're going to take your car out, don't drink anything. Otherwise, take an Uber. Take an Uber
and Lyft. Yeah. And if you drive your car there, just leave your car there and Uber home. Come back and get it the next day.
Correct. Yeah. Don't get behind the wheel of a car tonight if you're drinking anything.
Not at all.
You don't want to kill anybody else. You want to kill yourself. Like, please.
We got a Super Bowl run to watch. Don't go anywhere. Stay home. Party in the house tonight. Party alone.
Julia, thank you. New Year's. Happy New Year's. Happy New Year to you as well, Black Gritty. Everybody, the listeners of the show, we've been on the air since the beginning of September. And listen, this is a new thing in Philadelphia. PHLY has been on the air for over a year now, but it's a new thing. It's a digital podcast. It's an audio podcast. Like we're used to sports radio. I spent almost 20 years doing sports radio, and this is a new thing. And this was a growing year for the network. 2025 is going to be a great year for PHLY, and I'm looking forward to it. And I just want to thank everybody, all the viewers, all the listeners, everybody else that has joined us here in this community. And we look forward to growing with everybody coming up in 2025. Black Gritty, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, brother. Everybody, stay safe. We'll talk to you. We'll be back on Thursday, January 2nd. See ya. We all silly like the mayor.